Right, welcome to this Tactics and Showcase video. It's for Eldrad. I've just finished painting the model up. If you're on Instagram, then check out Striking Scorpion 82 and you'll see my page on there. And for those of you on Instagram, you'll get to see sort of early sneak peeks of units as they leave the painting desk and other announcements and pictures of battle reports and so on taking place. But usually when I paint up new units, I put pictures up on Instagram for everyone to see. But Eldrad's complete. We'll take a look at the model here. We'll zoom in. Very happy with how he's turned out. It's the plastic version that came with the Death Mask box set a good while ago, with all the Harlequins inside and the Death Watch Space Marines. And then I'm pretty sure you can get him as a separate blister pack now, but mine originally came with the Death Mask box set. So in this video, we'll first of all look at the model. It's one of my favourite models of 40k in general. It's an incredible model, really is nice. And then we'll take a look at the rules, options, and loadouts you can go for, sort of psychic options you can go for, and how to tactically use Eldrad in games. So the model's here, painted up, just gone for the standard Craftworld colour scheme here. I'm going to zoom in and then we'll take a closer look at the model. So there he is. Very happy with how he's come out. So I've gone for my usual urban grey basing colour scheme here. There's a full painting tutorial for that on the channel already. So if you like the way the basings come out, and it's for all my Eldar, they're painted on that same grey sort of urban basing just there. And then Ulthran is the craft world. Haven't painted any models for this colour scheme before, so it was quite a challenge. So I haven't got a painting tutorial, but I'm going to run through it here just for those of you who are interested in painting up this craft world and how I got the results here on this Eldrad model. Just spinning around so you can see the back. Here, so I'll quickly run through how I painted him, because I think it's quite, as you can see, quite happy with how it's come out. So actually spraying white. So the Games Workshop white spray, skull white primer, straight onto plastic model after the entire model has been constructed. Then you can either spray in white and then cover up the model, and then I spray the grey here around for the base, or you could spray the base first and then cover up the base when it's entirely dry and then spray white on the model. But whichever way around, I spray him entirely white. You may think, well, that's a bit different because there's a lot of black here on the model, but it actually works really well. So then the usual same process I use for all of my painting tutorials that you'll see for the different factions. 3 stages: base, colours, washes, and the final highlights. It's exactly the same with him. So first colours I paint would have been the gold and the silver, and those colours go on great onto white. The gold goes on brilliant. It's a great foundation. White, nice and bright here, so you can see all the gold here looking nice and bright. That was painted onto white initially, so quite quickly, not worrying about being too neat. So gold, a little bit around here as well, and then silver here for the sword, silver and gold for that. Then picked out the blue gems, the red eyes, a couple of red gems around as well as one here. Then I picked out a Shabti bone for the inside of the cloak here. And this top part, I know it's yellow, but I change that later on. And then brown here for the handle of the sword, for some of his pouches and belts coming down as well. And then a trick that I did, because you spray it white and you've got to try and see all the little details in between this ribbed cream here, and you've got to paint black in between. It's quite hard to see at times. So a trick that I then did was gave the whole model a coat of Agrax Earthshade. And remember, most of them's white at this stage. Then what happens is the Agrax Earthshade goes into all of the cracks and it picks out all the areas for you and shades them so you know where to go with the black, and it acts as an excellent guide. You know exactly, you can see exactly where to put the brush as well, and you could just then fill in the gaps, and it's all marked out for you because the wash has gone in and shown you the raised areas and the recesses. So that really helped. So then just picked out the recesses here, the cloak, and the gaps in between the armour here. You can see this design I just picked out with black. It was a whole lot easier after I'd done the Agrax Earthshade shade. So that just a good tip, really helped me out for painting these. Once the black was all on, the model starts to look like you see him here. I then put, trying to think what other washes I used here. Yeah, blue wash here on the sword, and here as well on this turquoisey here design. Wash that in with the blue as well, and then that was about it. I do put the washes over the black. It helps to seal it in, stops the paint from rubbing off. The washes are good for keying in those colours. Then once the base colours are on, the washes are all done, and then picking out the bone, a shabty bone, repainting it, then a shabty bone mixed with white to make that stronger and to pick it out nicely. Then a shabty bone mixed with the Flashgit's yellow to pick out this yellow seam here and here, and also on this cloak. Bit of purple on there to pick out as well, as you can see, just in between here and across his belt as well. The gems picked out. I show you how to paint gems. If you check out the Eldar painting tutorial and the Blood Angels painting tutorial on the channel, you'll see how to paint gems. Same process for these, exactly the same. Repicked out the gold, so that was gold mixed with a bit of silver, Runefang steel, silver, just to highlight that, pick that out, make it nice and strong looking just there. And then the black edging, and you can zoom in on Instagram here to the pictures, but you can see pretty good there with the camera zoomed in. Just used Dawnstone, nicely watered down to pick out these edges, and then Dawnstone mixed with a bit more white, just an extreme highlight with the black. Not too heavy on the black, you just want some fine lines just to pick that out, but not too much. You don't want to change the black to grey by going too heavy with your highlights for that. Repicking out the brown, and then these runic designs here that you can see, that's just copying the original artwork and doing it by hand. So very fine, finest brush that I had, and just slowly but surely copying those designs across to get that detail. It just took a bit of time, a few mistakes, had to go over it a few times, but gradually just copying the design, working my way down to get to the end on both the sides there. But very, very happy with how this model's come out. And really, what I thought would be a nightmare to paint, you know, trying to paint black onto white, and lots of it, and all this ribbing, I thought it was just going to be mad. But you know, it worked out all right, actually. So that process, you may think, well, does it sound right doing white, but it's mostly black model. But it means that your other colour, other than the black, your other colours, nice and strong they are, and you do want them to stand out, and the gold to shine and to glisten. And so this model actually started out white, and then just did the process as I've described. But just to give you an idea, just some tips there as to how this model was painted up. So it's an incredible model. I mean, it's, you take, here's a Warlock here, one of the old lead ones. Look at the scale. Now, even if I elevate this model up to the same level, Eldrad is more than head and shoulders above. Look, he's huge. You know, a great sized model here, and on the larger 32mm base as well, and fills that base out really well. So it's an incredible model. In fact, I would say if you collect Eldar, try and get a hold of this guy, because he is a joy to paint and a fantastic looking model. So, you know, visually, really happy to have him in my army. And for the rules, I think he's excellent as well. And that's what we'll do next. We'll zoom out here and take a look at the rules now for Eldrad. So Eldrad's going to be part of the new list that I've proposed for the Eldar. I've taken a lot of flack for my current Eldar list because it's been beaten about a few times by a number of armies, and Eldar are meant to be one of the stronger factions here in 8th edition at the moment. So people have been saying, well, you need to ditch your list entirely, get rid of the Wraith Knight and so on. But I've worked on a new list. I've sort of tweaked, enhanced my current theme as much as I can, and then going into the new season of Battle Reports, I hope the Eldar will do a lot better. We're still keeping the same theme of a list, but I've dropped some key units, added some brand new units in, Eldrad being one of the new additions. So, he was already in my proposed list, and then Chapter Approved comes along, and Eldrad has been reduced in points. He was 150, which I still thought was excellent. He's now 135 points, so he's not too much off the cost of a regular Farseer now. So I think he's brilliant. So 135 points, is all of the war gear included. It's power level 8. Movement 7, so he's as fast as regular Eldar units. Weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+. I'm not really taking him for either of those, for shooting or for close combat, but he can stand up for himself pretty well in close combat if he needs to. He has strength 3, He is toughness 4, which is quite an exception for Eldar, and then he's 6 wounds, plenty of wounds. Only gets 2 attacks though, so I wouldn't expect too much during close combat. Leadership 9 and a 6 up save. He's a Shuriken Pistol, a Witchblade, and the Staff of Ulthran. Only 1 model per army. So usual rules for the Shuriken Pistol. The Staff of Ulthran, +2 strength, so he'll fight at strength 5, AP -2, and D3 damage. It's decent enough. He finds himself in combat with some sort of Primaris Marines, he should be fine. And then it's got the Witchblade as well, which always wounds on a 2+, no minus on the AP and D3 damage, so a couple of melee options there. You're probably most of the time going to be using the Staff of Ulthran, usually. His Ancient Doom and Battle Focus available for him. There's no grenades. No, okay. So, reason why I choose him over regular Farseer is a couple of bonuses. And here, this is the key point. A Farseer can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase and attempt to deny 2 in each enemy psychic phase. No smite and 2 psychic powers for the Runes of Fate. So you can manifest 2 and deny 2. That's okay, that's good for a Psyker. But Eldrad, paying a few points more, he can manifest 3 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase and deny 2. So he gets that extra psychic power, and for the few extra points you pay, it's 100% worth it. So my list I'm running is majority a Laytok, for the -1 to hit, but I'm going to add a Supreme Command attachment for Ulthway and get Eldrad into the army. Just he's a superior Psyker, fantastic model as well. So I think he's really good. So what he has here, this is his bonus. So the key area is that extra psychic power, which I'll go to the psychic powers in just a moment. And then Spirit Link, he has this as an extra here. Whenever you pass a psychic test for Eldrad Ulthran, you can add 1 to the next psychic test you take for him until the end of the phase. Yeah, whenever you pass a psychic test. So basically, you pass the psychic test, you're going to get +1 on the next one. And if you pass that, you get +1 on the next one. So it's like a chain reaction of benefits. And that +1 can really help, because the powers that he has are powers that I really want to make sure they go off. They're not sort of ones that, oh well, if it doesn't go off, never mind. It's ones that are actually very important. So that is very, very useful to have that Spirit Link, for sure. +1. It's excellent. Because a lot of the Eldar powers sort of 7 to go off, and that's quite average, and there's a fair chance you'd foul that. So any kind of +1s really help out. So whilst I remember, actually, in my Supreme Command attachment, I'm taking Eldrad, and then I'm taking a Warlock and a Spirit Seer. So those 3 as my sort of Psycho cluster. I've got others as well, but those 3 together in that Supreme Command. And the reason why I keep the Warlock is because of a very useful stratagem. Here, Seer Council. Use the stratagem in your psychic phase if a Craftworld Farseer unit is within 6 inches of a Craftworld Warlock unit. So you keep the Warlock nearby to Eldrad. Those 2 together. Eldrad here does have the Farseer keyword. You can add 1 to the results of any psychic test you take for the 2 units for the rest of that phase. So only 1 command point. So that means that you play that straight away. It means the Warlock's power is going to be on +1, and then Eldrad's 3 powers are going to be on +1 as well. So if he passes his first psychic power, he's going to be on +1. The second psychic power, if he is successful with the first, will be on +2. It's very, very helpful for these powers. I really want to make sure that they go off. We'll come to them in just a moment. So just sort of layering all these benefits together with Eldrad. But that is a not too well known one, Seer Council, but exceptionally useful. It's nothing worse than you've got a psychic power lined up and it doesn't go off. You use a reroll and it still doesn't go off. You want to try and cut the odds of that happening down as much as possible, and that for 1 command point I think is a brilliant bonus to have. So he has Armour of the Last Runes, which is a 3+ invuln save. That's against shooting and in close combat, so he's good survivability there for that. So if he does find himself in combat with the wrong thing and he gets caught out, he'll block a lot of that damage from coming through with the 3+ invuln save, and he's got 6 wounds to absorb a lot of damage as well. And Ulthway as well, if I remember rightly, is 6+ to ignore wounds coming through as well. Then he's got Runes of the Farseer. Both him and Farseers share this one. Once in each psychic phase, you can reroll any number of the dice used for Eldrad Ulthran's attempt to manifest or deny a psychic power. I mean, that's incredible. Now you've got rerolls available, and you're not having to use command points to do it. So that's excellent. And then he's got Ghost Helm. Roll a d6 whenever Eldrad Ulthran suffers a mortal wound. Adding 3 to the result. Adding 3 to the roll if the mortal wound is inflicted as a result of him suffering perils of the warp. On a 5+, the wound is ignored. So 2+ if it's perils of the warp and ignores the wounds. Again, exceptionally reliable Psyker. Ghost Helm is shared here as well. Farseers are the same, but that is excellent. So people have said to me, I do listen to the comments that come through. I listen to what people say in the battle reports and so on. And people for a long time have said, well, you need to go more psychic heavy with the Eldar. And so I hadn't gone down that route. If you look at the 7th edition games, I'd no Psykers, held off for a long time, but now starting to get psychic heavy. And the sort of the theme of the army is more of some decent units and then layering a load of benefits on top of them, primarily through Psykers. Just layering on all these extras to make them stronger. So he's the central psychic guy for my Eldar list, and I'll have some more minor Spirit Seers and Warlocks nearby with some extra powers also. But this is the key one here. Eldrad, he's going to hang around at the back, just dish out those psychic powers. That's his job. All he needs to do is just keep those psychic powers flowing each turn and let the other units do the killing. Once they've had their enhancements come from him, and also from the Warlocks and Spirit Seers as well. So we'll take a look at Psychic Powers now. I think it's a solid unit here, and 135 points, I think it's a great cost for an HQ. So Psychic Powers there, we've covered some relics here. Yeah, this is this one here, Unparalleled Mastery as well. Use the stratagem when a Suriani Farseer successfully manifests their last Psychic Power in the Psychic phase. So let's say he's used up all 3. That Psychic can attempt to manifest an additional Psychic Power this turn. So I suppose he could go, if he uses up all 3 of his chosen Psychic Powers, he could then manifest Smite perhaps on top of that. So that's useful. Question I have about this one, if you know the answer, just leave it in the comments section. He can attempt to manifest an additional Psychic Power. Is that a Psychic Power he already knows? Or is it, can he just go and choose another psychic power from the discipline it doesn't have already? That's the question I've got. I'd imagine it's from a psychic power that he already knows, but I could be wrong on that one. Okay, so yeah, I'd plan to have him as my Warlord here. Ulthway, Fate Reader. If your army's battleforged, your Warlord is on the battlefield. Roll d6 at the start of each turn. Yours and your opponent's. On a 6, you gain a command point. So 6+, in a game, 5 turns at least, that's 10 chances. So you're going to get a couple of 6s, so a couple of extra command points for that. 2, 3, 4 command points if you go on to turn 6, turn 7. Potential limitation now, I believe it's per battle round. You can only regain 1 command point, so that might slow him down a bit, but still, each battle round, 2 chances of getting a 6 in total to try and pick up that extra command point. It's doable. You're going to get a couple of command points on average during a game, which I think is brilliant. So, can't take relics, is his named character. So yeah, he has access to 6 psychic powers from the Runes of Fate discipline. I was talking about all those bonuses, extra +1, +2. It's very useful because these powers, most of them, are 7s to make them go off, and there's a fair chance of that not going ahead, not rolling well enough. So any ability to re-roll or ability to add pluses, needing a 6 or needing a 5 instead of a 7 makes a massive difference. So the 3 powers that I've chosen for him, an interesting topic for discussion here. I've chosen Guide as the first power. Guide has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose a friendly Suriani unit within 24, so it's got an excellent range. You can re-roll failed hit rolls for that unit's ranged weapons until your next psychic phase. So he's there to help guide one of my shooter units in the list. Perhaps the Wraith Knight, for example. Brilliant weapons, the heavy Wraith cannons, but they need to hit the target. And so guide is very useful, especially if the Wraith Knight's taking damage, it probably will. Perhaps needs 4s to hit or 5s. The ability to reroll hits just means those shots are going to come through. But even on full strength, 3s to hit, you get a miss or 2, reroll, you try and get your 3 or 4 hits, and then you're into the rolls to wound them, which is usually going to be like a 2+. So guide's very, very useful. Any other type of unit, Shining Spears, big unit of them I have in the list. They got some decent shooting power. Rerolling their hits for shooting with them, again, very useful. So guide, very, very useful power indeed. So that one I've taken. Maybe we've got access to 3, so you'll see the massive reason why I really wanted to go for Eldrad here. Doom, again, excellent power. It's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose an enemy unit within 24. Again, excellent range. You can reroll failed wound rolls against that unit until your next psychic phase. So, Wraith Knight's got his hits because of guide, and then the dreaded thing happens. You've got 3 dice to roll up for. Here come the wounds. You're going to kill a tank. Double 1. And then you've got to start, trying to use a command point to pick up where it's gone wrong. But instead, you're getting to reroll your wounds. And it's reroll failed wound rolls, any type. So shooting, close combat as well, just rerolling your wounds. Maybe I've got a unit of Shining Spears, and they've got their laser lances, strength 6. They've charged into Liam Russ, 5s to wound with the laser lances. But if I make that rerolls to wound, if I doom that target, that's exceptionally helpful. And where it would have been a case of the Shining Spears struggling to destroy a target, thanks to the help of the Psyker, they take the target out. So I really can see the benefit of these Psykers here. I've seen the light. Yeah. Of why it's a good reason to take them, and take them at a good strong contingent of them. I think Eldrad's a good way to start. So the third power I've taken, and this is why I've gone for Eldrad, really important to take this third power, and that's Fortune. Again, useful for any Eldar unit, but especially useful for my Wraith Knight, who I'm determined to keep in the list, but I want to try and make him as decent as possible. Fortune has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose a friendly Assyrian unit within 24, so it could be anybody, including the Wraith Knight. Nice range in it as well. So Eldrad can be in the centre of the battlefield, my deployment zone, and range 24, you can be nicely in range of the enemy and of your own friendly units as well. Brilliant ranges to these, range 24. Until your next psychic phase, whenever that unit suffers a wound, so I think it's wound, mortal wound included, I believe, roll a d6, and a 5+, that wound is ignored. If your unit already has an ability of a similar effect, e.g. Authorized Foresight, the Damned attribute, or the Avatar of Cain's Mortal Body, then the effect of Fortune replaces that of the ability until the next psychic phase. Right, so it's not worth playing it on an Avatar, for example. But 5+. Now, for example, the Wraith Knight gets hit by laser cannon, takes 5 wounds. Usually, the save's failed, the opponent rolls dice, got 5 wounds, and that's it. You just take the wounds off. But now you take 5 dice and try and get 5s and 6s. And the amount of times you'll roll a couple of 5s or a 6 and 2 5s, and that 5 damage gets dropped down to 3 or 2. And it's just to limit that damage coming through. There's a lot of wounds on a Wraith Knight, and if there are any ways to try and slow down the damage and absorb more and more firepower from the opponent, then I think it's well worth it. Fortune is crucial. So all 3 of these, is important that those powers go off. And I don't want to burn through loads of command points because they'll be precious enough for the Eldar, for the list that I have. And so any pluses to getting these to go off, or any ability where the Psyker can make rerolls just for the rules that he has, which is Runes of the Farseer. Yeah, the rerolls available. Then do that instead of using up precious command points. So those 3, I really like all 3 of those. Definitely a use for all 3 of them. I was going to go for original Farseer. Which one am I going to drop? It's really annoying. And I thought, no, just go for the Supreme Command Attachment. Take Eldrad and Spirit Seer and Warlock, and then gain access to all 3 of those. The other 3 powers, I'll cover them here because it's discussion about all the options that Eldrad can have. There's Executioner, which is a close 4th option here. It is a decent power. It's warp charge value of 7. If manifested, the nearest enemy unit within 18 suffers D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, it doesn't say visible. It says anyone. If a model in the target unit is slain, which is usually the case, usually an infantry target, the target unit suffers an additional D3 mortal wounds. So it's like a potent smite. D3 mortal wounds, that's your usual smite. But if it's a multiple infantry unit and you take out one of the models, an extra D3 mortal wounds. So yeah, that's decent enough power, that one. So it's kind of a variant of smite. It's okay, I still prefer these three. Then Will of Surian here. It's a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, friendly Asuriana units automatically pass morale tests whilst within 6 of the Psyker until your next psychic phase. Additionally, you can add 1 towards another which test you make for the Psyker until your next psychic phase. It's okay, it's a bit tame, I think, compared to the others. And for morale, most of my units are going to be out there doing stuff. I'm not going to be near him to benefit from that, so that was just an easy decision not to include that one. And the next one's Mind War. It's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, choose an enemy character model within 18 of the Psyker. So that's good, you can pick out a character. Each player rolls a d6 and adds their model's leadership characteristic to the result. If your opponent scores higher, or if the scores are drawn, nothing happens. If the Psyker's score is higher, the target suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the difference between the two scores. So his leadership is 9. The average character you're going to come up against is going to be leadership 8 or 9. So there's sort of half a chance you'll cause a mortal wound or 2. It's going to take quite a drastic result to get a load of mortal wounds coming through. So I just didn't... Compared to these 3, I didn't see that being stronger, so I'm still going to stick with those 3. By all means, discuss this in the comment section. Which of these as powers has worked really well for you. It may not be on Eldrad, you may be using a regular Farseer, for example, but these are all open for discussion here. But that's the 3 that I've gone for. I can see those really helping and enhancing the army. And the other great thing, Eldrad is a character you can hang at the back, dishing out these psychic powers, and then sitting on objectives, moving about, grabbing objectives, and so on. As a character, it's going to be hard and difficult to target him. So that's the plan then with Eldrad. I think a nice foundation for psychic powers for my Eldar force. Start with Eldrad, and I'm going to add in some Warlocks and Spirit Seers and so on to gain access to the other types of psychic powers that are available for the Eldar. But there he is, all painted up, ready to go. And again, heartily recommend this model. If you collect Eldar and you love the models, this is one to add to your collection. It's been a joy to paint. Just a fantastic sculpting work that Games Workshop have done on this Eldrad model. Great to see one of the old school units being revamped and brought out in plastic, and a great job that Games Workshop have done. If you want to see the new list for the Eldar, check out the Plus channel. It's been discussed over there. There's a new, if it's not out already, there'll be a discussion about the adjusted list that I have for chapter approved. 2,000 points, the adjustments being proposed in there. Further enhancements and improvements for this new Eldar list that I'm working on. Eldrad features in there as the Warlord, and you get to see ahead of time that new list, and you can leave your own comments and suggestions and help shape and form that list before it comes out here on YouTube. And then on the Plus channel you've got all of the other battle reports, painting tutorials and exclusive content over on that website as well. But there it is, Eldrad Ulthran. I'm working on the Eldar at the moment. I want to see them assembled and ready to go straight out to war as we go into the new season. It'd be great to see them getting some battlefield experience, getting some victories, and starting a campaign back to the top, all being well. Maybe Eldrad will be the one that leads them to ultimate victory. There he is. That's the new model and the rules and the tactics for him. Keep a lookout for more tactical videos for the Eldar in the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.